Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the EV Show by Ludicrous Feed Live. Nice of you to join us tonight. If you're watching us live, give us a hello there in the live chat, and don't forget we've got a competition tonight too. So make sure you use hashtag Expo in the live chat for your chance to win one of 6 double passes to Everything Electric this weekend. Should be good. Coming up this weekend, it's going to be lots of cars there on display. We'll talk about that very shortly, of course. But today is Wednesday, the 5th of March, 2024. Nice of you to join us live. If you're watching us on replay, hello as well. And also, hello to you while listening to us on audio podcast. All right. So, before we kick off tonight, I just want to say hello to our co-host tonight, of course. Let's say hello to Mr. Riz Akhtar from Carloop. Hello, Riz. How are you this evening?
Hey Tom, good to be on a warmish sort of evening here in Melbourne, and tomorrow jetting off in Bonza over to Sydney in preparation for everything electric, which we will talk about. So make sure you leave a hashtag Expo in the
Expo.
comments if you're watching live.
That's right, hashtag Expo in the live chat to win tickets. 6 double passes we're giving away tonight to Everything Electric in Sydney this weekend, and of course, if you're watching on replay, 20% off for coupon code Ludicrous if you want some tickets for this weekend too. Should be good. Lots to chat about tonight, Riz. As always, let's say hello to some of our regulars. Let's go for it. So hello to Richard. Richard's going to be joining us in Everything Electric in Sydney. He's driving up tomorrow. Should be good. Yeah, 7X should be a highlight indeed. Can't wait to see that one as well in the flesh. Hello, Wayne from a blowy Toowoomba, which reminds me to all our Queensland viewers, hoping you're all staying safe. And we're thinking of you, of course, tropical cyclone Alfred making landfall sometime in the next 24 to 48 hours. So, yeah, stay safe, everyone. And thanks for tuning in if you're watching from Queensland. Hello, Grandpa. Nice to see you. Hello, Terry. Hello, Jean. Hello, For the Burbs. G'day. Nice to see you. And, yeah, thank you, Grandpa, for supporting the channel. Yep, lots of posts from myself over the last few days. Hope you're all enjoying the content from Chongqing in China when I went to Deepal to see some of their cars. Hello, Jason. We're thinking of you as well in northern New South Wales. Lots of rain coming your way too. Stay safe. Hello, Lewis, as well from Brisbane. And hello as well, SWS. Nice to see you. Thank you, Grandpa, for the Ludicrous Feed memberships. Hello, Peter Cook. Hello, Mitch Brill. Nice to see you all. Awesome. All right. Yeah, let's say hello to our sponsors. We've got a new sponsor for this year. So we've got mycar joining us as one of our sponsors. And of course, thank you to Carloop. Thank you, Riz, started to empower Australia's EV revolution, and Hankook Tyres as well. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, indeed. And if you are coming to Everything Electric, by the way, guys, mycar have a special. Go visit them at their stand, and they've got 33% off their tyres if you go and see them to claim this offer. 33% off all their tyres from mycar, so they'll be prominent at Everything Electric in Sydney this weekend. And speaking of, this is what you can expect at the show. So lots of cars, as you can see. I won't name them all, but some of the ones I'm looking forward to, Mona M3. Apparently, this is the first time it's been unveiled outside of China, I believe.
Yeah, it's looking that way, the Mona MO3. That's pretty exciting what XPeng's been able to sort of put together. It's a sub-brand of XPeng. And at the price point, it's sort of around early 20,000 Australian dollars is what it starts at, a fully electric sedan that, yeah, I guess for those attending, we'll get to see it in person. And for those listeners and viewers, it's a big step in bringing EVs at a pretty affordable price that are, let's say, not bare bone. It's a pretty well-spec'd electric vehicle. So hopefully, if they're bringing it out to showcase at Everything Electric, it could be on the cards to come to international markets like ours in a year or two's time.
That's right. If you can't make the show, I'll try to do a sort of an intimate walk around with the car. That sounds dodgy, but no, it's it's going to be a special video. Hopefully, by the time the show is over, we'll have it out for you on the channel. So stay tuned for that. Other cars, Riz, wouldn't mind seeing the Kia EV3 up close. I'm sure
Yes.
it'll be the little brother of the 5 and the 9, but nevertheless, it'll be good to see.
That's right. Now, they did have one at Australian Open
Mm,
briefly, but anyone that attended the Open may have gotten to see it, but it's the first time at a show that it will be unveiled in Australia. So that's pretty
mm.
cool. What do you think about the Cadillac Lyric? I haven't seen that car in person.
Yeah, so me, Joy, and Roland from Zapped were at the launch last year. So pretty cool car is, yeah, typical big muscly American vehicle. Looks pretty stylish. I think you'd be surprised. Quite a big car though, 5 meters in length,
Mhm.
or close to, and kind of a fastback edge. It's expensive, but it's not much else kind of in that luxury EV, SUV segment, right? So yeah, we'll see how well they do with their sales figures, of course.
Hmm.
What else can we look forward to? So yeah, VW ID Buzz finally in Australia. So good to see that one.
Well, I was just
Uh,
gonna say, on the very first show that Everything Electric or Fully Charged had in 2023, I think that was also going to make an appearance, but we didn't see it.
oh yeah.
Um, so it appears that we're glad that it's coming now, which is great.
Yeah, I remember that actually. Now you said that, but we can actually order one finally in Australia. So
Yes.
yeah, that's the difference. Yeah, some sort of larger vehicles down the bottom. A couple of Utes thrown in there, including the Shark 6, the Ford F-150 right-hand converted, and then this one I'm looking forward to because I'm doing a live review on stage with one of the
Hey.
presenters, Farazan Supervan from Geely. So I want to see that in person too. Should be good. And a surprise car. Wonder what this will be. I think I know what some of these will be.
Mhm.
Starts with a T, possibly ends with a Y. Surely that's one of them.
Yes.
For little birdie has told me that yes, they're actually already on the floor setting up, so
Ooh.
it should be good. Yep, bit of a teaser there for you guys. Yeah, should be good. And let's take some comments. So Richard said he drove a Shark last week. Quite nice for a Fev. Good. And the Ranger Fev info revealed today: 11 kilowatt hour battery. Okay, yeah, it's small on the small side, considering the Shark is 30.
Yeah.
But we'll see how they compare on the road, of course. Um, yes, Wayne, yes, that's right. I saw this too. BYD talking about new batteries and new charging stations. So we'll get to that towards the end of the show. Don't worry, we'll head to that later on. Aaron's ordered a Cooper Tavascan in
Ooh.
Brisbane. Congratulations. Yeah, nice. And yeah, Richard's saying, be nice if the Mona can help bring sedans back to Australia. Let's make sedans and wagons great again, Riz.
Yeah, that's right. We need to get a few wagons into the market and yeah, sedans as well. We'll talk about some of the sales a bit later on, but
Mm,
yeah, sedans are not doing as well as some of the SUVs out there at the moment.
that's right. People love SUVs. Before we get to our articles, don't forget to hashtag Expo in the chat if you want to win one of six double passes to EE this weekend, everything electric. So hashtag Expo, that's all you need to do. Only 4 entries so far, so there's a good chance you might win if you get yourself in the running. Okay, let's keep going. Thanks, Jono. He's saying that he enjoyed our Leapmotor C10 video. You know what, Riz, for the price, honestly, hard to beat, right?
It's a
45,888.
lot of car.
Crazy. A lot of car. And I heard today, might as well put this out now. So, the range extender version of the C10 has been announced for Australia. So 28 kilowatt hour battery. They reckon 145 kilometers WLTP. So, do you reckon there's value in me like testing these PHEVs and REEVs to just drive and see how far I can get on the electric range?
Look, I think it's worth just seeing, especially this range extender stuff. We haven't got a lot of range extender cars
Mm,
in Australia yet. So yeah, charging that 28.4 kilowatt hour battery pack. And see, I thought pricing wise, it might be, I mean, it is sort of cheaper because that's a drive away price
yeah.
compared to the Leapmotor C10 battery electric one that's 45,888 plus on roads.
Mm. So this car expert article reckons it'll undercut by $1,600 for the REEV. I guess it's a topic for another day. Like, should REEVs, PHEVs be same price as BEVs, or should they be under, or should they be over? Obviously, there's more complexity in the hybrid versions. You know, there's more complex powertrains. But should they be cheaper? I don't know. That's a question I guess we need to ask our audience.
Yeah, I mean, the C10, obviously you and Joy have done a review on that as well. I think it's a fantastic car in so many ways. it's got its shortfalls, like we've discussed, the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, which is so important for our markets. But all in all, it sort of, from the rear it looks a bit like a Porsche Cayenne, and from the front it's got its own unique sort of design. Comfort wise, it's all pretty good. And if I guess the EREV version is coming into our market as well, I'm actually looking more forward to the B10, which is supposed to be the smaller, fully electric version of the C10. If that falls under 40 grand, that would be a pretty good deal. But for anyone that's interested, test drive the C10. And Tom, I don't think there's any harm in doing the range extenders just to see what that technology is like, and maybe it might help some people sort of see that if they can live with a 28 kilowatt hour battery pack, they can live with a 60 or 70 kilowatt hour pack.
Yeah, I mean, I think the BMW i3 has had a range extender version initially too. So that's like the last time an IEV was on our shores. I guess the distinction between that and the PHEV is that the REV versions only power or generate electric for the electric motors rather than powering the wheels. But again, another issue we can explore later on. Cool. All right. Watch this space. All right. And we're thinking of you, Justin, another Queenslanders tonight. He had a 3-day passes for EE. Couldn't go because can't get a flight out of the Gold Coast. Yeah, it looks like Southeast Queensland is pretty close to lockdown because of what's happening with the storm and the cyclone. So we're thinking of you guys. Stay safe, guys and girls, up that way, and also northern New South Wales as well. Okay, Riz, let's talk about the EV sales for February 2025. This is very interesting indeed. Take it away.
Yeah, so after a bit of abysmal Jan that we had, February has sort of not been where things were February last year. There were a couple of different factors behind that. But all, in summary, we hit 5.9% of all sales were electric, which, I think there were nearly 6,000 vehicles that were fully electric. It was 5,684. And same time last year was 10,111 cars. One of the reasons last year was so high was because that was the first major month of Tesla Model 3, the refresh version deliveries. And, that Tesla made up quite a big chunk of those sales last year. So this year it's been a bit more timid, 1,592 in February for Tesla. But for other brands as well, things were not so good. Apart from, I think, one standout. So we'll look at the models shortly. But I think between what FCAI, the lobby reports, and what Electric Vehicle Council has reported, there are 5,684 sales, a total of 96,710 vehicles. That, before, I guess, our viewers and listeners, for those that are interested, does not include Xpeng sales still. So we don't know what's going on there. I've asked the distributor. Let's see if we get a response. So, all in all, the market's relatively healthy for total vehicles. Just battery electric vehicles are not where they should be.
Yeah, that's interesting that Xpeng haven't reported sales to you. I don't think Deepal was in that set either, right? So, potentially that could add a few hundred between them, hopefully, to these numbers. But what's curious is that, obviously, 5.9% is down compared to last year. I guess if you take away Tesla's big surge because of the Model 3 last year, from this number, right, 10,000 in February, take away Tesla sales, add on Tesla sales to this month, it's kind of almost comparable. I was doing the sums before, like very close. If you take away the artificial gains from Tesla from the Model 3 launch. Obviously, a lot of people are waiting for the new Tesla Model Y, the Juniper, so to speak, to be delivered. So again, that could be a reason why Tesla numbers have dropped. We'll talk about the elephant in the room in a second as to another reason why Tesla numbers may have dropped. But before we do that, let's go through the numbers, Riz, for this month for BEVs. So you got Tesla Model Y still on top, 924, Tesla 3, 668, MG4 hanging in there, 451, And your surprise packet was Kia
Yes,
EV5, wasn't it? 400 sales.
400 sales. And, a couple of reasons behind that. I think off the back of the pretty successful sort of advertising and awareness campaign that Kia ran as part of the Australian Open in January. I guess they reaped the benefits in February with people heading to the showrooms, having a test drive of the car, and placing an order. Kia also does pretty well when it comes to fleet sales. So, once fleet managers are aware that there's a new electric car from Kia that's sort of under 60,000, that would have perked their ears, and those deliveries might have also started. So, the other couple of things, just underneath the EV5, the Sea Lion 7 was launched last month. The deliveries have officially started, I guess. Some of these may even be press cars. And then, Zeekr X is another interesting one with 98 sales. That could be from February. But it's the first month that Zeekr is reporting their sales. So I guess we will find out. Volvo EX30, I was a bit surprised. They seem to have rebounded and done relatively well with over 100 sales. BYD had a huge month when it comes to plug-in hybrids because of the first big month of Shark deliveries, where the BYD Shark, I think, sold just over 2,000 vehicles. And the Sea Lion 6 plug-in hybrid sold about 800-ish, bringing to a total of around 2,900 plug-in hybrid vehicles from BYD.
Yep.
I guess it's a good thing that there's demand for a ute with, I guess, cleaner powertrain. What is concerning, though, from BYD is what's happened to the rest of the models. So the Atto 3, 138 sales in February. And then we have, obviously, the Dolphin, only 44. And the bigger surprise of all of them is BYD Seal, 56 sales. So we talked earlier about sedans, but sedans have come right down when it comes to sort of what people are expecting. And the only car bucking the trend out of pretty much all of them is the Tesla Model 3. I mean, the BMW i4 could be considered one as well, but that's not selling in any sort of major volumes compared to the Tesla Model 3. So sedans, maybe not up there, but BYD, I'm surprised that, there's no real reasoning behind why Seal sales are so low, and it's such a good looking car and it's so comfortable and just does so many things right. I get a feeling that BYD, before the plug-in hybrid exemption sort of ends at the end of this month, the sales teams are, pushing the Sea Lion 6 and the Shark 6 pretty heavily. So they might not be, looking at how can they move or sell more BYD Seals, but Seals and Dolphins are missing out. They're not getting the love from BYD.
Yeah, poor marine life, dolphins and seals. But I've got a feeling it could be also because we know there's been talk of a price drop, or at least a new variant called the Essential variant for the Dolphin, which is sub 30 grand, and then the Seal's getting a little facelift, little minor cosmetic facelift with a different price as well. So maybe people are waiting, being told to wait a bit. While the new ones come in with a better price and 2025 plate, Riz?
Possibly. I mean, the reality is, if there's some sort of a run out. If like Tesla at the moment with the Model Y, they've got some of the older stock that's priced quite a bit below what the new ones were worth. But you could be right, Tom. There's, multitude of reasons, but it appears from BYD or EV Direct, the distributors management at the moment, they're really looking at highlighting the success of their plug-in hybrids, such as obviously the Shark and the Sea Lion 6. But I guess once the subsidies or the fringe benefit tax exemptions are removed for plug-in hybrids, the market will really show how much demand there is for that technology. I think the Shark 6 will continue to do well because there is no other product in the market that's like that. There is actually GWM has got an alpha plug-in hybrid Canon Ute that's coming out. But apart from those two, there's not many others. There's a LDVE Terran, which is supposed to be fully electric. We don't know the price, but if it's priced at 90 grand or whatever the last LDV was, it's not going to sell.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Anyway, let's see how we go.
Yeah, and also I think, there have been comments in the chat about we shouldn't be talking about hybrids, but I still feel like we need to include them, not necessarily in your figures, but we still need to keep an eye on the figures because, it's important to see, obviously, the people who buy hybrids potentially could be on the cusp of driving a BEV. They just they want to test what it's like to live with a plug-in car. Obviously, they're still a bit sketchy about the range and with the charging infrastructure in Australia, but I think it's worth keeping an eye on Shark Six Figures and obviously post-April once the FEV incentives run out. As you said, Riz, I'm very curious to see whether they keep up with numbers as they have been too. So, yeah, thanks, Riz. This is great for sharing this. And, yeah, we'll see what March figures do. And I suppose we should probably talk about the elephant in the room as to why Tesla figures are coming down. But before we do that, let's just quickly take some comments. I saw this comment earlier from... where was it? Here we go. Lanuvian, greetings from Denmark. Atto 2, available for test drives next week in Denmark. That's great. So another lower price BYD there. Excellent.
SUV.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, the more sort of affordable EVs out there, no matter what type, I think it's good. What else have we got here? So Hado saying BYD Seal wait times are impacting maybe. Work with a guy who's been waiting a couple of months, still not a sign. So potentially another reason.
Yeah.
Sate saying after March, PHEV cars may be throttled, and I agree. We'll see what it looks like as well. We've got Riz here to help us out with that. And you're right, essential variant for the Dolphin is already available for order. But are they being delivered, Riz? I'm not sure. The new ones.
No, they mentioned March for their deliveries, and I've spoken to a couple of BYD sort of dealerships so far in the last couple of weeks, and they all sort of are hinting March. I guess the question will be that 29,990 has price been the main concern? Okay, we're seeing that with MG4, right? They lowered the price late last year and they sold, so many. And then obviously with February, MG4 has done very well again. Last week, I was actually driving around in an MG4 Excite 51.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, that car was a 2023 build. So it was one of the original cars that MG still has in their press fleet in Melbourne, and still put a smile on my face as to, at that price point, how fun it is. And
did it conjure up memories of our road trip to drive to Canberra?
It did, and the amount of times we were, that Goulburn the Goulburn Chargers next to the servo, and the KFC one we tried that wasn't working. But if we did it again, maybe in the upgraded MG ES5, the SUV, maybe it'd be good to revisit. But yeah, that's such a good car, the MG4. Yep. Yes, it hasn't got, in its base form, it hasn't got quite a few of the convenience sort of features that we see in more expensive cars, but it's way better than a Corolla hybrid, and it's much cheaper.
That's right. Very good value. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Another elephant in the room. Lots of elephants tonight, but the big one is this article here from The Driven. Tesla electric car sales plunge again in Australia. Model 3 down more than 81%. So on the face of it, it does seem a bit sensationalist, but the figures don't lie. Model 3 sales are down, as Riz has shown in his article as well. So Riz, I guess we should ask the audience too. What do we think? Are Tesla figures down because people are waiting for the Model Y? Most likely. I guess it doesn't explain why Model 3 sales are down. There's no new Model 3 coming out shortly, so they should be kind of stable. Is it the Elon Musk factor? Obviously, he's in the news a lot, being involved with the Trump administration. Is that putting people off? Is it a mix of things? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, guys, but I guess time will tell once Juniper deliveries happen in the next few months. But Riz, what do you think? Let's kick things off.
Look, I guess we can ask the audience as well, what, as you've done, Tom, what could be some of the reasons? This article obviously looks at the sales from February last year, and we touched on some of the reasons why the sales were so high. in February 2024. The other part is Tesla an EV industry? So, sometimes I get to look at the whole industry and sort of think about what is slowing things down. And when you talk to everyday people on the street, they don't really have much interest in electric vehicles for various different reasons. I think the damage has been done when it comes to the FUD and the articles that have been put out by mainstream media. They're being a bit kinder to electric vehicles, but to an average person, unless they have a real interest in electric vehicles, they are still under the impression that they don't last very long. There's no charges. There's anything you can think that's under the sun that would stop them from making a decision or even test driving one. So we have some fundamental issues that the federal government, as much as they can incentivize, by giving FBT exemptions and all the rest of it, this is not going to be fixed without proper education. And that education is a responsibility of federal government, state and territory governments, us individuals, like we do on this particular channel and on our live streams, social media, mainstream media, more importantly, us EV owners, when we get a chance to, take others, family, friends for a ride in our vehicle, we should be sort of talking about some of the key benefits, not really converting people, but to sort of highlight, some of the key advantages of an electric car. And that just like all those channels need to work together. And more importantly, in Tesla's case, they've got to start to advertise. I know they've started, they've got a few YouTube ads running, they've got a few other things going on social media, but the horse is bolted. People have so many other choices from so many other brands. Why is EV5 selling so well? Traditional brand, EVs, they're happy. They've got a dealership network. People understand and know the brand well enough. The mainstream people do. And that's what the stage of EV adoption we're at. We're at early mainstream, and car makers like Tesla, rather than expecting people to walk through the door, they need to be showcasing, guiding, educating, getting out there a lot more in places where people are. And I guess maybe they are taking the first step with being at Everything Electric. In my humble opinion, for the very first time, they're at a show that they're actually paying for a stall so they can showcase different products, including the new Tesla Model Y. So maybe that shift is coming, and they've got the memo.
That's right. Yeah, your last point makes a lot of sense. I mean, look, the Chinese brands are also catching up a lot. There's a lot more choice now. There's so many new brands. Expo and Deepal, we touched them all. Even Kia's got a nice, cheap product now as well with the EV5. You've got BYD with the onslaught of cheaper cars as well. PHEV is also another source of competition. Objectively speaking, obviously you and I have driven lots of Teslas. Obviously we both own one as well. The Model 3 and Model Y objectively are probably the easiest EV to own in Australia, particularly if you want to go long distance. As I've proven time and time again, charging the supercharger is very easy. There's just no hassle. The Tesla app is fantastic, integrates with the Powerwall, all those kind of things. So there must be another reason why sales are down. Obviously, Juniper. Sorry, Riz.
No, exactly. Go on, Tom. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, your Juniper Model Y, obviously that's causing Y sales to drop a little bit. Model 3 should be more stable than it is. Maybe people don't like sedans. Again, we can apologize for these things, but at the end of the day, I think the Musk factor cannot be discounted. I think whether you apologize one way or another, or you look at the sales figures, something has happened in the last 6 months for people to turn off the brand, and unfortunately, whether you like it or not, the brand has suffered a loss because of what's happened in the US. Agree or disagree, guys, in the chat? Let us know.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of media coverage around that topic. This obviously article covers some parts of it, but I think the product is, as you said, Tom, it's one of the easiest to live with. In terms of PR, brand management, communication, talking to existing customers, listening to existing customers, putting out the existing customer stories and all of those sort of things. That's, there can be ways in which Tesla can learn. And I think the opportunity is there. Yes, there's a lot of things going on globally, right? Like US obviously has got a whole lot of their cars are about to go up by 10 to 15%.
Yep.
Most cars going into the US because of the new tariffs.
Yep.
And it means that the only companies that will really do well are those manufacturing in the US, and Tesla is obviously one of the major OEMs. They're often, all their models are in the top US built cars. But for Australia, that doesn't really matter. We get our vehicles from Shanghai. We need, a lot more needs to be done from a brand protection point of view, and also highlighting the advantages while the leadership situation is going on in the US with Musk and the rest.
Here's a question for you, Riz, and everyone else in the chat. It's going to cause a lot of controversy here, but my question to you, and I've been asked this as well by my friends and family, are you embarrassed now to drive a Tesla? Okay, this is a difficult question to answer, I know, but Riz, we'll start with you. Are you embarrassed to drive your Tesla Model 3?
Look, mine's at the smash repairs at the moment, but if I,
Yes.
it wasn't a vandalism sort of a situation, but a Mercedes hit me, so now the Germans are after me.
Come on.
So, but yeah, look, I personally don't think I'm embarrassed to drive the vehicle, because I didn't buy the car because of Elon Musk. I bought the vehicle because of how futuristic it was, 5 odd years ago. And it still is. We, as you said, Tom, we drive a lot of cars, a lot of different EVs. And love what every other brand is doing in terms of their product. But every time, and I say this often to people, and some people don't believe me, every time I want to get back in my own car that's 5 years old. Not because I'm familiar with it, but just because how updated it is, how, basically everything is, it's different with all the new software updates. It's easy to drive. It's fast. It does all the things we want it to do. It handles so well. And, very rarely I'm sitting in the car or sitting elsewhere and thinking, I wonder if I should really be embarrassed because of what Musk is doing.
Yeah.
It wasn't the reason why I bought the car, so it's not the reason why. But
No.
I agree. It's not good for the brand with what's going on. Yeah,
great answer, Riz. I am the same. I'm not embarrassed to drive. Definitely not embarrassed to drive a Model S. I bought that way before any of this. Yeah. That's a beautiful car. I still love it. I'm going to keep it. Not embarrassed to the Y, because great piece of engineering, great car, as I've said, all those reasons. I'd never bought the car for Elon Musk. I bought the car for the brand. I love the Tesla brand, what they've done, the hardworking people behind the scenes, what they've done for the EV adoption over the last, what is it now, since 2012, right? So 13 years and going strong. So, these things, something might happen tomorrow. You know what? Elon Musk doesn't own the entire company, right? He's got some shares, like, what is it, 15% now, something like that. So, does he need to go? I don't know. Like, obviously there are movements to try and uproot him from the company, but I guess another question for people who are watching too, would you be less embarrassed, if you are embarrassed now, if Elon was removed from leadership of the company, if Tesla sort of stood alone with a different type of leadership? I don't know. That's another question.
That's a good point as well, Tom. I think one other thing worth noting is there's a podcast called Tesla's Unofficial Podcast by Ryan McCaffrey. And he recently interviewed Lars Moveri, who has been with the company from one of the very early employees. He's the vice president of engineering. And just listening to how they make decisions in Tesla around the product, around engineering, around what goes into products, it's phenomenal. And he goes back to talking about, the brief that they got for the Tesla Model X and the doors and why they needed to be a particular way. Engineering wise, they do a lot of things that just haven't been done in that way before. And I think that from an engineering point of view, they for most of the products, they were given the very simple brief with the Model S. It was make the best driving car in the world. And at that time, it really was. Model X, they did the same thing with Model 3, was mass production. They talk about, what happened with the production ramp and how the company nearly died multiple times. And then obviously the Model Y, which even at that time when they were designing it, they knew this was going to be the best-selling car globally.
Mhm.
So engineering, what goes into those vehicles, that's what really inspired me to buy the car. And Tom, you've obviously been one of the real OGs with the Model S, and you've shared your journey on your channel. And I think that's what people need to pay, and that's not discrediting all the other brands that are available today as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I probably wouldn't buy another Tesla, not because of Elon Musk, only because I want to see what else is out there. I want to
Mhm.
see what other companies are doing from their tech point of view, from the charging infrastructure, from the battery. That's all very fascinating to me. Like, I feel like Tesla can sort of observe from the sidelines a little bit, get a press car or test someone else's car when the new Y comes out. And I'll probably still be impressed if I just objectively look at the car, the engineering, the app, the charging, all those, ancillary associated experiences that we have with the car rather than just the car itself. Because with the other brands, you just kind of have to look at the car, because you can't really talk about the charging experience because it's terrible, generally speaking. Whereas with superchargers, it's first class. So yeah. But yeah. So thanks, guys. That's great. Lots of discussion there in the live stream. Really appreciate it. This is what we hear about. Bringing up some balanced, objective discussion and honest opinions too. So if you're watching on replay, leave a comment as well. Give us your thoughts on all the questions we've asked so far. And we'll keep talking about it as time goes on, and as Riz gives us more data over the months to see where Tesla's at. Obviously, we can apologize and explain the fact that Model 3 is down because we're comparing it to deliveries from February last year. Y is down because of Juniper deliveries coming soon. So, Riz, interesting times ahead.
Yeah, and one other, I guess, thing while I'm thinking about the Model 3. Obviously, Tesla also recognizes they took away too far. Or sorry, they went too far with the amount of things they were taking away from the car. And with the Model 3, of course, they took away the indicator stalks, and they took away the gear lever, and they took away quite a few things to simplify things. I personally think half an hour test drive of the new models, or well, I call it the new Model 3, but the refreshed Model 3 is not enough to learn to live with no indicator stalks for those that obviously nearly every other car has it. But I spent 4 days with a car. It was a press loan car. And after that, I went back to my car with stalks, and I said, why are these here? and but Tesla recognizes that
Yeah.
owners and new people coming to the brand, which is those that wanted one have one, and most of people anyway, but new people coming to the brand did want the stock, so they bought it back in the Juniper. Word on the streets around Shanghai is that they're going to bring it back into the Model 3. Maybe that was a step too far for most consumers at the stage of EV adoption that we're at in Australia. So
Yep.
who knows? But yeah, a lot of changes still to come on the Tesla lineup.
Yeah, I feel like we should have two options: one with and without the stalk for those who really want a stalkless car. Whereas, obviously a traditional, conventional stalked car, people obviously still want that, given the Model Y has it, and as you said, Riz, Model 3 rumors that it's coming back in the new refresh, well, the new update Model 3 for this year. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Just quick break. I want to thank our sponsors once again. New sponsors, of course, for those of you who have just joined us, 217 viewers. That's fantastic. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to mycar, Tyre Auto, new sponsor for this evening and moving forward. Thank you, Carlube. Thank you, Riz, for data. And thank you, Hankook, as well, Driving Emotion. Hey, thanks for supporting Ludicrous Feed, everyone. That's great. Okay, let's keep moving on. We can talk about Elon Musk and Tesla all day, Riz, as you know, so we'll do that probably as the weeks go on. All right, so, another bit of Tesla news just really quickly. Okay, so Model Y launch edition sold out, rear-wheel drive in Australia. Is this still the case, Riz? Still sold out?
Last time I checked, it was. I'm hoping that they're going to get the non-launch series cars on our configurator soon. But yeah, as it appears, it sort of went away a couple of maybe just after our live stream last week. So
yep. Awesome. Yeah, well, there you go. Obviously, people still want this car, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the sales data for the Model Y next month and the month to come and beyond. Now we've talked about other cars coming from China, so if you want to see another one coming to Australia, confirmed, SO5, which is the baby brother for the SO7, also from Deepal. If you want to learn more about the Chang'an brand, there's videos as well on my channel for this, so check that out. And on this video, we've got suspension tests too. So there's like the proving grounds in Chang'an, in Chongqing, sorry, they're Chang'an proving grounds. You've got heaps of different roads with different types of, cobblestones, paving, bad corrugations on the road, sine curves. So yeah, we did all those tests with the SO5. So yeah, check that out for yourselves. And if you want something a bit quirky, the SO7 might be for you. SUV, I'm calling it. It's like a mullet car, business up the front with an SUV and a bit of a party out the back because it's got a tray and a tailgate as well. So check that video out too, and let me know in the comments of that video whether that might actually work in this country or not. So I'm curious to know.
Both of those videos are awesome, Tom. I've seen both of them and they're very, very cool just to see the type of proving grounds that Chang'an has in Chongqing, but also the vehicles and how different they are. And I think they will be at Everything Electric this coming weekend. So anyone that's around and is able to make it, check it out. But for basically everyone, check out Tom's videos. They're very, very informative.
Thank you, Riz. And the pricing and the specs for this car and the SO5 will be announced at Everything Electric. I'm not sure which day. Probably Friday, I imagine, on Media Day. Yeah. So should be interesting to see. If you want a behind the scenes Chongqing tour, there's a video on that as well on my channel. So check that out. Okay, let's get on to other news. So, no, actually, there's one more bit of Deepal news. I'll just quickly want to talk about this one because this was written by our friend Matt Campbell, who was on the trip as well with me. Yes. He's quite a good guy to be around, actually, like Matt. Shout out to you. So he's titled this article, Car Giant Rushes Fix for Australia's Most Annoying Car. So if you ever watched my SO7 review, the Deepal SO7's got really annoying ADAS. I'm happy to say this, and the Deepal team have acknowledged this too. It's really annoying, very intrusive. 1 kilometer an hour, just blare at you and say, stop, you're too fast, which is super annoying. But apparently they fixed that with a software update. So Riz, great to see this, people taking Tesla's lead with software updates. That's what we need to see to improve cars if people find a problem with it like this.
Exactly, and I spent a week with the SO7, and I mentioned that to you, Tom, without being too harsh on the brand. I think the product is great. It's fantastic. It's so much fun and engaging to drive. If all of those ADAS functions aren't, beeping at you, you can put onto its equivalent of autopilot, and the car is beautiful. It's perfect. It just doesn't do anything. But with all of that stuff off, it's basically undrivable in terms of how annoying it can get. But glad they're fixing it. Obviously over the year updates, they're acknowledging all the things that have happened with this vehicle. But with those videos that you've just put up last week, Tom, from Chongqing, the SO5, a smaller version of this car, and the EO7, the product can't fault it. Yeah. Like, it's so good and it's so comfortable and premium and luxurious, and it drives and handles so well. Can't wait to test those cars. But yeah, I'm glad that local distributor and Chang'an and Deepal team have acknowledged it, and we're going to get a bit of a fix. So it'd be good to maybe get a follow-up video to this, Tom, in a couple of months' time.
Yeah, I'll try and get one. Honestly, this car is really nice, and not just because I went on the trip with them, but we drove this to Canberra before my trip, and we really enjoyed it. The family and I driving it back, and they're a bit slow on the charging speed side of things, but if it can charge at a Tesla Supercharger, which it can, then that negates some of that difference. What's interesting, Riz, and I'm happy to share this because we asked the Chang'an team when we were there. Has any other market complained about the ADAS apart from Australia? And they said to us, honestly, no, we are the only market that have complained about the ADAS. I find that really difficult to believe because it's super annoying. I've never gone, this is a really annoying ADAS system, like to this degree. And I worked out maybe it's because we're the first Western market to have this car. Because I don't think it's in Europe or Britain yet. Thailand's got it. And us?
Yeah, I haven't seen any reviews out of Thailand, but maybe it gets me thinking, maybe it's our roads, like maybe it's our road markings, maybe it's the way lanes are laid out. I don't know, but yeah, it is strange that we're there. But hey, it's better that they're going to do something about it, and they're doing it pretty swiftly than, unfortunately, our friends at BYD and EV Direct, who took over 18 months, and we still don't have. I know there's some movement in that supercharger issue, but this the car's pricing was announced at Sydney EV Show, which was in November.
Yes.
And then we had the Christmas and New Year and Australia Day. And, a bit after that, we've got this this update from Chang'an. So great to see, but good insight that, Tom, that you had after talking to them in Chongqing that, hey, maybe we are the only market, but maybe the next question we can ask them, in a couple of months' time after we've gone past this is, why did they think we were the only ones? Like,
I know.
what were they seeing in Thailand?
I mean, surely the Brits would have complained, but I don't think it's in Britain yet.
It's not yet.
Yeah, I mean, if it was in the UK, they would definitely complain. Like, sure, seriously, it's
The weather and then this.
Their roads are not that dissimilar to ours. Like, come on. In fact, they've got even narrower, tighter roads. So, yeah, I'm glad it's fixed anyway before other markets. So happy to be the test market. And you've seen my vids. I've shown you it in action. It is very annoying. So yeah, good to see Deepal getting that fixed at least. Okay, thanks for your comments, guys. Keep them coming. I do read them and Riz reads them as well, so really appreciate that. Great to see some discussion there. And we've got a Tesla Supercharger site, thanks to Sydney EV, posting this starting work in Cooma. Now, this is great because every time someone asks me about the snowy mountains and driving an EV, I always cringe a bit because I've done the drive and I've gone, you know what? It's tough. It's really tough. Apart from Cooma, which has got, I think, 4 chargers, I think it is, something like that, 4 to 6 chargers. There's not much else. You've got some NRMA chargers in Jindabyne. I think there's 3 charge foxes in Cooma, I think, as well, at the Discovery Centre. Is it Cooma? Or Jindabyne as well. It's not a lot, unless you can find accommodation with like an AC charger. So, Riz, I'm glad we're seeing more Tesla chargers coming alive here.
Yeah, awesome. Meanwhile, just quickly, I don't know if we'll touch on this a bit later or not, but I saw another article on The Driven on Ampol.
Okay.
And they've come out again and said, hey, we haven't been able to roll out the number of charges that we said we were going to do because of grid connection. They made that excuse before Christmas, and they're doing it again. And it's a bit a company with so much money because of oil and gas is now saying, oh, hang on, we can't get grid connection. But Tesla, who allegedly the whole supercharger team was sacked in March or April last year, globally is rolling out not only the biggest sites, but in sites in locations which have been underserved. So don't know what's going on, Ampol. I guess, there's a will, there's a way, and I don't think there's much will there at the moment.
Yeah, the skeptic in me is saying they might have kept the money from the grant, which I hope not. But, you're right. We can see Tesla rolling out, 10, 12, 16, 20 stall locations like Goulburn is going to get one soon with 20. So what's happening? I mean, I know it's taken years to get to this point for Tesla, but I think the others need to pull their finger out to try and, make some agnostic chargers, not just rely on Tesla. So, we know Zeekr's bringing their X-Power. What's not X-Power? What's it called?
Zeekr Power.
Zeekr Power, yep. XPeng's got their partnership with Volkswagen in China. And look at this article here. So BYD launching 1,000 volt platform, and they're now starting to move into chargers as well, even though they've said time and time again they're not going to do chargers, but looks like they're going to move quickly here.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. Obviously, it's one of the more recent articles. I saw on X a couple of weeks ago that they've got I can't remember whether it was a 1 megawatt or 800 kilowatt charging unit outside their Shenzhen testing sort of center.
Oh, okay.
So they are moving into that space. I guess with most things BYD, they're going to start at their very, very premium end products, the Yangwangs and maybe the Denzas, which I guess the good news is we are technically getting Denza later this year, so you never know.
Yeah, that's right. And the article did say that they're going to start with the higher end models too. That's right, Riz. So they're sort of saying, well, 800 volts is nothing. We've got 1,000 volts here. They're playing the voltage voltage game.
Who's got more volts?
That's right. So here we go. Here's a prototype of a BYD 1,000 volt supercharger station with 6C charging rate.
What does that remind you of?
Yeah, it's a bit petrol-y, isn't it? Oh,
But
you mean the plugs? Oh, yeah, yeah. Looks
and also the actual the unit itself.
oh, the box, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Very Tesla-like, isn't it? I agree. Well, imitation's the best form of flattery, and you know what? I actually don't care. I just want more chargers in Australia,
yeah.
wherever they're from.
Make EV charging great again.
That's right. That's right. I agree. All right, we'll watch this space, and yeah, if either of us go to China with BYD again, we'll certainly press them on this.
Hey, just a quick one on this one.
Yeah.
Batteries, what are they going to do? There's supposed to be an update to the Blade battery that is supposed to charge faster. And what are they putting in this Yangwang and Denza products to make them charge at 1,000 volts and whatever else? So I guess there must be some sort of battery development work being done for this to be, for them to be able to do this.
Yeah, exactly. They were very coy when I asked them last time, so hopefully, yeah, things are happening in the background. And I just want to put this comment here from Sydney EV: long live Chademo. No, sorry, Rob. No, long live Chademo. Chademo has to go. CCS2 has to come and stay. I'm sorry, and Charles agrees. I know you've got a Mitsubishi iMove, and that's great, but sorry, Chademo has to go. Yeah, I said it.
Hey, actually, speaking of iMav, I saw a smart #0 this week, which were the original smarts, because that was a real smart, tiny-looking thing, and they're very, very rare. And a lot of the times they come in silver, like it's a Mercedes silver, but it's very similar to the iMav silver. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see a smart that small, and I don't think we will get another small electric car to Mitsubishi either. So long live Chademo and long live the iMav.
Long live the iMav. I agree with that one. So Sid EV is also saying, hearing rumors that Lismore are removing the DC fast chargers ahead of predicted flooding. Yeah. So once again, think of you guys in northern New South Wales and southeast Queensland ahead of tropical cyclone Alfred making landfall very soon. So stay safe, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and staying dry up there. Okay, all right. He's doubling down, Sydney EV, about Chademo, so read that for yourselves, guys. All right, so this is from Peter Cook. So yes, I saw this today, so I got an email about supercharger congestion fees rather than idle fees. So for a long time now, Tesla has had idle fees where if there's more than 50% of the stalls taken up, you'll get charged an idle fee for hanging around with it plugged in and not charging. So that's been, I guess, one way to rotate and cycle cars away from superchargers to keep up with demand during busy times. But now at busy sites, they're starting to implement this congestion charge so that if you keep charging past 80% for busy sites, and you'll see that if you're a Tesla owner, you'll see that at busy supercharger sites, your max is being limited to 80% because it's busy. If you keep charging past that at these busy sites, and I assume at busy times, then you'll be slogged 50 cents per minute potentially on top of your charging fee. So Riz, I presume this is only busy areas, not for every site during busy times?
Yeah, that's what I gather from this announcement. They did something similar in the US late 2023. But yeah, I guess it's the first time. And for those of us that will get to experience this, share your experiences and tag Tom and I.
That's right. Yeah, give us some feedback in the comments, or later on in social media as well. Let us know. Okay, or we're just almost at the end of the show here, guys. But just whip through some more posts. Some Polestar 5 sightings. This is from the BYD owners Facebook group. Riz, here it is. Polestar 5.
Yeah, it's sleek looking Grand Coupe or GT, Grand Tourer. I was actually, I was covering this, so thanks SK for sharing it. But I was doing an article on the Driven, and I did a bit of research on the Polestar 5. As it turns out, Polestar's own press releases are pretty funny, because one of the press releases covering this car from April last year says this Grand Tourer is set to compete with Mercedes EQS and Porsche Panamera. Now, rarely do you get companies bluntly putting out, that's who, if you drive a Porsche Panamera, we want you as a customer.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about this car for nearly 4 years now. So anyway, it's good to see being tested on our roads, and I suspect it will be here before the end of this year.
It looks like something almost out of Rocket League. You know that game on Xbox or PlayStation? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure about the back just yet, but yeah, I'd like to see it in person. Speaking of Polestar, I've got a Polestar 3 at the moment. I'm trying very hard to make the price make sense. I'll have to keep thinking because it's quite an expensive MSRP, right? It's like 130, 140 grand before on roads. So yeah, I'll keep brainstorming with Joy and we'll do a review very shortly about it.
Well, those that are interested, I think they sold 3 in January and I think 6 in February or something like that. So
Yikes.
they're not moving too many.
Yeah, I can see why. It's. I mean, look, I love the car looks great. Like I love the shape of the car, but it's an expensive vehicle. Let's not lie. Yeah. Anyway, lots more other options in that SUV segment. That's for sure, Riz, as we all know, having talked about other brands tonight. Let's keep pushing on. And before we go to the last few articles, by the way, guys, just hashtag Expo. There's only 14 entries for our everything electric giveaway for this weekend. I've got 6 double passes to give away, so just put hashtag Expo in the live chat. We'll draw them at the end of the show, and we've got 6 double passes to give away. So only 14, so you've got a good chance of winning tonight. So get those entries in. All right, let's keep going. I've got a few more charging stations opening up. So let me just remind myself where this is. Sorry, getting a few more. So this is from viewer Warren A. Update photo from, sorry, it's not up here, is it? Sorry, guys. Update photo from BP station on Gympie Road in Aspley in Brisbane, north side. Ooh. There you go. Interesting that they're sort of angled, or is diagonal parking there.
Well, that's one way. I don't know if it's saving parking spaces or not, but that's yeah, I haven't come across many diagonal charging bays.
No, that's right. Tritiums, probably? Looks like tritiums.
Yeah, looks like it. I think the 150s.
Yeah, probably a bit of power sharing going on as well. Yep, and then this one is, let me see, this is from viewer Peter J. EV chargers now operational at Tweed City, which may be seeing some rain tonight as well. Tweed City, yep, Tweed Heads. Tweed has now gone from 0 charges to 20 in 2 years with another 18 planned. That's great. Question for you is, why are so few chargers under the New South Wales government subsidies have been installed? Why are so many still pending? That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Part of that, I think, is the Ampol stuff. I think they were involved in some of those grants. BP, I know, had a few, and I think they've opened a few sites. But yeah, maybe it's a question for you know, the team at the charging team at New South Wales government as to what was the criteria set out. As it seems, really, Tesla's maybe the size of the sites, but Tesla seems to be the only one that's actually rolling them out. You know, I know BP and others are doing a few, but EV networks, I'm not sure what's happened. They were supposed, I think they were Fast Cities was their sort of application name for those particular grants. So yeah, maybe if any of the New South Wales charging team is listening, maybe you can give us a bit of an update. For those that are interested, they will also be at Everything Electric. So feel free to pop in and say hi to the awesome team from New South Wales government who are involved in the rollout of chargers, but also just getting more EVs onto the roads in that state, which has done quite a lot to get EV adoption up.
Correct. Probably the most progressive state for EV charging. And yeah, feel free to ask the hard questions respectfully, of course, and make sure you tell them Riz and myself sent you to them to ask those questions. It's important. Just back on this, it's a funny comment here from SWS. Must have been day after drinks night for the line marker. I mean, look, they are straight, to be fair. It's just at an angle, that's all. I've never seen this before. It's a first. All right, let's keep pushing. A few more to go here, guys. So, guess who's back? Yes, Toyota is back, teasing us again with a sleek and stylish battery EV. I think it looks like a car in there. Just see a.
It's a bit of a SUV. I think it's the same as the one they've got in China already. The
BZ3X.
BZ3.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
It's an SUV.
Okay, so pumped up BZ3, is it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's supposed to be just like a CHR sort of SUV looking. I mean, if
Very nice.
anyone's interested, yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'll be open here, Riz, and everyone else. I would actually buy a Toyota EV if they made a decent product. I'm just gonna say it now,
Yeah.
right? If they had a BYD blade battery, if it was LFP, if they charged decently without software locked, decent interior, good price. We know the Toyota servicing is good. I'd be very close to getting one because I quite like the brand actually. They're very reliable. So yeah, what about you, Riz? I mean, same or
Look, I've been looking at the CHR. I know it's a hybrid, but every time I see one on the road, I think that's a good looking small compact SUV. But yeah, if Toyota did all the things that you need, the foundations of an EV,
mm,
well, and gave us slightly bigger screens than what they currently have,
mm,
it'll be worth test driving anywhere when we're shortlisting
yep.
vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny how the BZ4X is the highest selling EV in Norway. I'm still so puzzled by that. It's so weird. Anyway, I guess people still like Toyotas regardless of powertrain. Um, okay, and just quickly, another silhouetted car. BYD teases the Qin L EV, another sedan, which
Ooh.
is good. Let's make sedans great again. So I don't know. Will this have the 1,000 volt golden 6C battery? Who knows?
Ah, yeah, don't know yet on that one. I think the Han
Mm,
L they said had something which we don't get the BYD Han here. Actually,
mm.
that was one that was driving around that Luke Todd mentioned a lot about. There was a red one, the Han that used to drive around
Oh,
Sydney
yeah. Mm,
many years ago, and that looked like a very, very nice looking light sedan.
yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening, BYD, maybe you can bring us the 1,000 volt Han LEV here, and maybe we'll convince our politicians in Canberra to stop driving ICE BMWs and start driving electric BYDs instead.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do a charging race between that and the Zika 7X, which apparently is at EE as well. So we'll
It
check that
is,
out too.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And finally, Riz, this is something you shared. So interesting insights from ONVO, which is the sub brand from Xpeng, I believe.
Neo.
Neo, I'm sorry, Neo. It's one of the
Yes.
two.
So yeah, like Lei Xing, very highly respected gentleman in the sort of China EV analysis space. ONVO was a sub brand, or sorry, it is a sub brand of Neo. They launched it. Neo sort of competes with Porsches and Mercedes and the rest in China, um, making luxury electric vehicles. And this was supposed to be sort of their mid spec vehicle, competing with Model Y. Does battery swapping, very efficient, more efficient than previous generation Model Y. Was launched late last year, and they have their own CEO, Alan Ai, who's the CEO of this brand. He famously said at the Guangzhou Auto Show that by March they will be hitting 20,000 sales a month. And what has happened is the first 2 months they've hit 9,961 for both months. Yes, there was the Chinese New Year and a couple of other things, but they basically need to double what they did in the first 2 months in March in order for him to stick to his words. Because yeah, this could get a bit interesting because it shows that as much of when people can't connect with a brand that they know, people know the Neo brand, people don't know ONVO.
Mm,
Neo tried very hard by opening hundreds of ONVO locations, did it very quickly. Some of them were famously dubbed on Chinese social media as, look, this used to be a Tesla showroom, now it's an ONVO showroom, we've kicked Tesla out. But as it appears, they're not getting the sales. And this is supposed to be being shipped in right-hand drive to markets like the UK later this year, which means it's
mm,
likely to come to Southeast Asia and Australia as well.
mm,
So if it doesn't work out in China, what happens then? We may miss out. But from all accounts, including Elliot from Fully Charged, who has reviewed it on their channel, who will be at Everything Electric,
mm,
um, it's more comfortable and much nicer in many ways for passengers compared to the previous generation Model Y. So yeah, we will see, but it's not looking good for ONVO.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with Elliot actually. But yeah, back to your point about this car. I mean, if it's not working out in China, I think it'll struggle overseas for sure. I guess this leads me to thinking about Mona, the Xpeng sub brand, right? Similar situation. Like people hardly know the Xpeng brand, and here they are bringing the Mona brand, another sub brand. So it's going to be a really hard sell, not just for Mona, but all these new car entrants. Like they really need to work on brand awareness. This is the issue, right?
Well, MG, if they're going to be bold enough to bring IM which is their premium brand, to Australia, which we've seen a few of our viewers and listeners have shared those images, one even at Chatswood Supercharger. But if they're going to bring that, no one knows IM. People have just started to know about MG. That's one problem. The other sort of brands like BYD and Denza are a little bit different. I can see why there's another advantage of Denza coming as a brand on its own, and that is that BYD will be able to bring that brand on their own to Australia, and they don't have to rely on EV Direct as a distributor.
Correct.
So and BYD is big enough to do that. So that I think that's, plus their products are quite differentiated from BYD standard lineup, so they can probably afford the brand awareness schemes and things needed to popularize a brand and make it mainstream, but other brands can't. So yeah, time will tell what will happen to Mona. We saw what happened to Genesis from Hyundai. Great products, just didn't really resonate as much. And Lexus is probably the only brand. Infiniti used to be with Nissan.
Yep.
Never took off. We never got the Acura brand, which is in Honda's got it in the US as their premium brand. So yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, Nissan's struggling, of course, as well. So yeah, indeed. Yeah, I mean, I think BYD, you're right. It's probably big enough, and it's starting to reach mainstream awareness too. Obviously, with the Shark 6, and they're sponsoring, the Sydney Roosters, so a bit more mainstream football teams as well. So what MG's been doing with South Sydney, it's been quite successful. So that brand awareness is there, and you're right, Denza is very different, having sat in a Denza as well. So we'll see. I think I'm curious to watch if they can pull off the luxury sort of sub brand for BYD. Okay, Riz and everyone else, I think we're reaching the end of the show. I just want to quickly, again, just plug, not because we're working there, but because we'll be there, Riz and myself, on panels and doing stuff and out and about over the next 3 days. Well, yeah, over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lots of cars to check out at Everything Electric at Sydney Olympic Park this weekend. So, as we touched on, a few cars there, including the Mona, including the EV3, and other sort of cars you may or may not have seen already in the past. So yeah, I think this is what attracts people to shows, cars, and I think it looks pretty promising this year anyway. So we'll see what they offer on the floor this weekend in Sydney. And finally, let's do the draw for tonight's giveaway. So we've got 6 double passes to give away for the show. Just all you have to do is put #Expo, and you will be in the running to win one of 6 double passes to the Everything Electric show. 210 viewers at past the hour mark. That's pretty impressive, guys and girls. Thanks so much for doing this and supporting us. Without you guys, there is no show. So Riz and I are very grateful indeed. All right, let's do the draw now. You guys have had your chance. This is it. All right, let's do the first draw for a double pass. Let's do it. Yeah, Riz, you'll be there all 3 days?
I will be there Friday and Saturday.
Great.
So look forward to seeing. Hey, Ben.
Hey, congratulations, Ben W. You are our first winner of a double pass to EE. So send me an email, tom@ludicrousfeed.com. It goes to all winners tonight. So let's do our second draw. Drum roll, please, again. I'll be there on Friday. Well, Saturday and Sunday, actually. Not Friday. Hey, Donald Watson, congratulations. You are our second winner. That's great. So that's 2 down. Again, send me an email, tom@ludicrousfeed.com. Let's do it. Third winner. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday I'll be there. Do live review on Sunday of the Farazon Supervan by Geely. That should be good. Ben Wood, third winner. Send me an email. Get those tickets out to you. Fourth set of tickets. All right. Let's do it. Neil Lovett. That's great. Congratulations, Neil. 4th winner. Let's do 2 more. Number 5. Who have we got? Zofa, X-Sofa. Good Gaming. Congratulations. And our final winner for this evening. And if you don't win tonight, thanks for joining and thanks for taking part anyway. But here's a coupon code for you for 20% off Ludicrous. DSH2069, congratulations. You are our 6th and final winner for the e-tickets. So thanks everyone for playing tonight. That's great. And again, once again, 20% off for tickets. Use the Ludicrous coupon code. Okay, well, Riz, thanks again for joining us. For all your insights, sales figures as always, great to have you on and looking forward to catching up again in Sydney.
Anytime, Tom. Thanks to our viewers and listeners for joining us. It's been good fun. We've got, lots happening. And this is like everything electric, I think will just kick things off for EVs. I think this is probably the most amount of EV brands I have seen at a show so far over the last couple of years. And, like we said, we gave a lot of airtime today to Tesla, and Tesla will be there with their refreshed Model Y. It's just an exciting time. So if you happen to be in Sydney and can make it, great. Otherwise, check out Tom's video, which I'm sure will give you a pretty, as he said, intimate view of the floor and what happens.
Very
anything
intimate.
and everything electric.
That's right. These cars have stalks, so very intimate. Look, we're not afraid to tackle the hard issues. We try not to be stuck in our EV bubble. That's why we talk about BHEVs, because it gets people interested into BEVs eventually. So I'm not going to stick my head in the sand. I don't think Riz is either. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about Tesla and the issues they're having. Talk about the Chinese brands and try not to talk about too much about politics, but sometimes it does creep into our discussion with EVs. It can't be helped. It is the way it is. But yeah, Riz, thanks again. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for participating in the draw, everyone. And thanks for your comments and questions as always. Always great listening to you and, reading your comments and feeling the pulse of the EV buying public, as they say. So thanks, guys. And thank you, Riz. I'll see you later on. Take care.